We're going live. Can't tell. Are we live? Jesus Christ. Camera. There it is. All right. There we are. Now I have no idea what's going on because I can't see squat diddly on my analytics. I don't know who's there. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Hello, everybody. My name is Brent Barlow. It is 6 a.m. local, 1 p.m. Zulu, Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. I am here to share a little bit more about me and what I've got going on. I'm going to talk about this morning. I'm going to go through my process, give you a little, uh, if you will, philosophical perspective, where I am, who I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and uh, hopefully continue to provoke some discussion, conversation, thought, what have you. Okay, so first thing I typically will do is check my email, and oh, that didn't work. Uh, and see what's going on. All right, so let's do this. Da, 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 da. All right, so I would share my screen, but it's a nightmare. All right. So today we're on Facebook and YouTube. I think we should be public, but I'm not 100% sure where we are on that. Let's see. So we get a lot of email from various news outlets, for example, Politico, which the California Playbook this morning has a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Doesn't look 100%. Looks a little out of shape. And it looks like he's just getting loud, expressing an opinion. Excuse me. All right. Let's see. Hollywood Reporter Sherry Redstone's next act, mobile chair. We will dance again in Bad Boys Studio. Whatever. I don't give a shit about her. CNN, reliable source. Free speech chill in the air. Well, that's obvious. From all over the world. Boston, China, USA Today. Typically, this will provoke at least an interesting article or two. Oh, Robert Redford died at 89. Gosh darn it. The legendary leading man of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, who used his star power for advocacy. That guy was a frickin' stud. I do subscribe to a lot of newsletters. Oh, sorry, but I don't need my glasses. Da, da, da. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has said he won't take away anyone's vaccines. Quote, but this flies in the face of what Americans are experiencing on the ground. So says Dr. Danielle Ofri, a new guest essayist at the New York Times. Not really worth reading for me, but Robert Kennedy, the whole administration is doing a lot of things from the social side that is challenging, and we'll get into some of that. So Robert Redford's passed. LA and California seem to be clawing back a little bit in the entertainment industry. Little bit of good news there. Los Angeles seems to be getting some production dollars. That's good for friends and family. Do a lot of words of the day too. That's kind of cool. I think words are very important. Uh, I hold people accountable to what they say. And I'm kind of unrelenting in that regard. I spoke with my children at a very tender age as though they could understand big words. Why not? Why not treat them like they're intelligent? If somebody doesn't understand a word, they should ask. Football, hockey, the fall is the season, baby. Here's something. Apparently, there's this whole controversy now. RFK Jr. also getting his nose in the controversy of whole milk. I didn't realize that the fat content of milk was a controversy. Basically, what I heard the experts say was the science is still hazy. There's no harm, there's no foul either way at this point, so they think. That's nice. Hmm. Looks like there was about an hour ago a political AI and tech summit that I could have watched live, which would have been good. Chairman of the federal SEC was on it. Senior policy advisor for AI, White House Office of Science and Technology. That would have been interesting. TikTok, of course. That was a scary thing. Now I got to get on it. Apparently, it's getting safer. The clock is ticking and the ban is set to go into effect, but looks like a buyer is available. I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that that's happening. Forbes is characterizing it as the end of TikTok limbo. All right, so it's fall. It's good. There's a lot of stuff going on. See, this takes a while to get through all these emails. I mean, I get hundreds of emails every day. Apple News. I don't subscribe to Apple News, so I can't see any of these stories typically. Dang. But the long and the short of it is, it does help me uh, stay in touch with what's going on. I also consume a lot of uh, public media news broadcast, despite what you might hear out there about the liberal slant of public media. Uh, I find it to be a critical uh, component of a free society, and freedom of press and the right to express yourself, the right to hear both sides of all arguments, is kind of critical mass to a vibrant democracy. One of the biggest challenges that I see right now is it appears as though the current landscape is uh, fertile ground for those with power to exert that power in an attempt to capture more power. And what I heard just yesterday, God, I wish I remember the guy's name. But basically, he's making the argument that with regard to this budget impasse that is fast approaching, the Republicans want to advance a budget that the Republicans or that the Democrats uh, oppose. And so the Democrats are going to filibuster, which means they're going to stand in the way and say, no, we don't agree, so you can't move forward. And the risk becomes if that impasse, if that obstinance to hold tight to a position of unwillingness to agree because there's a lack of compromise on both sides, the real potential exists for Senate Republicans to exercise what's called the nuclear option and vote to end the filibuster. Now, the filibuster essentially requires 60 votes in the Senate to pass a bill. Okay. And we have a system of checks and balances, separation of powers, and federalism. Those concepts all come together to say that the way we govern is structured in a way that protects people, us, and what we are building and what we are doing. And there have been challenges to that over the years. You know, things started going kittywampus with Watergate and have gone downhill since. JFK getting, MLK getting, RFK getting. I mean, there's been political violence since the beginning of the American experiment. Uh, if the nuclear option is exercised and the filibuster, which requires 60 votes in the Senate, which is a difficult hurdle to overcome, and is intentionally designed to slow down the process because the heat and passion of the majority and the moment should not override the the traditions and policy, the social philosophy and fabric upon which this society is built. And we were, so said Bush, one, the shining star on the shining light on the mountain hill. I don't remember that exact quote, but it's a different world today. I don't blame any one thing, and I don't point the finger to say it's your fault. I believe that we need to take personal responsibility, all of us, and my chosen approach, generally speaking, is to rise above, meet the challenge, and charge forward. My father kind of taught me, my father taught me a lot of things, but among them included, you know what, just put your head down, charge forward. Works on the field, any field you find yourself on. So, Charlie Kirk's assassination still getting traction, man. That is harsh. Amazing how that incident has been leveraged for how it's been leveraged, is all I'm going to say. Let's see. Wired magazine. Hundreds of Google AI workers were fired amid fight over working conditions. Over 200 contractors who worked on improving Google's AI products, including Gemini, been laid off. All right, that sucks. How AI is upending politics, tech, the media, and more. Oh, this is another summit, AI Power Summit on Monday. Industry executives and officials discussed the impact of artificial intelligence and the impact it's having on every corner of society and where it goes from here. God, I would love to read that. All right, I'll put that for later. Russia testing hypersonic missile at NATO's doorstep. Great. Human design is blowing up. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Hockey's coming. Yee! I'm so excited. Go Kings, go. Israel launched a ground offensive overnight in Gaza City. It also intensified its aerial bombardment, and smoke billowed over the city this morning. Gaza is burning, Israel's defense minister said. Windows were felt shaking in buildings as far as 25 miles away. The military said troops would surround Gaza City from all sides. More than 300,000 Palestinians have already fled. About 500,000 are still there. Death would be more merciful than what they're living through right now. Jesus Christ. You know, this is not cool. Associated Press reports that U.S. military targets another boat in Venezuela. I'm sure dangerous drug running terrorists. What's Lemon got? Who knows? Who cares? All right. BBC. Israel is committing. Israel's committing genocide in Gaza. U.S. UN Commission says. I will say that Europeans have a much different view, and the English absolutely have a different view on our relationship with their relationship with Israel and the Palestinians. It's quite a clusterfuck. Semaphore, Semafor, is a great newsletter. Was Rutgers got more war in Gaza? The kid who shot Charlie Kirk is due in court to face formal charges. All right. So again, I go through this process every day, and I try to get as much information as I can, just to kind of start. I personally also listen to words all day long, mostly NPR, almost exclusively KCRW, also KPCC. Uh, both KCRW is hosted at Santa Monica City College, KCRW out of Pasadena City College, and these are public services that are incredibly valuable. Here's another fabulous newsletter, History Facts, sometimes in some kooky stuff, but people used to vote by voice in colonial America. So the more raucous you were, the more likely you were to get your vote heard, as it were. Here's an interesting fact. There are more fake flamingos in the world than there are real ones. Plastic animals are more common than the real thing. You believe that? All right, here's a fabulous newsletter I get. TLDR, too long did not report. This is a tech, AI heavy newsletter, and I always find stuff here. An article on the sale, or at least the framework of the TikTok sale. AI or OpenAI upgrades. It doesn't matter. Sam Altman backed Retro Bioscience starts Alzheimer reverse trial. That's cool. This is under science and futuristic technology. New ultrasound helmet reaches deep inside brain without surgery. Ooh, that's cool. New ultrasound helmet reaches deep inside the brain without surgery. Dude, this right here, Star Trek. Fuck. What this, I'm sure this article says it. I'll read it, but this is from Wired. Oh, no. Where is it? From Science Alert. I don't know them. I'll check them out. Trust but verify. I never suggest you read or believe anything you see or hear on the internet, including what I have to say. But fucking check everything out. Don't be a victim. Don't subjugate yourself. Take personal responsibility. That's, you know, too often I work with a lot of young people and I encourage them to not be lazy, is really what it comes down to. Don't expect, I admit I am guilty of this in spades. So please, I am not pointing the finger. I'm accepting full responsibility for my parenting style that was overindulgent. And I can't deny that I love my children and cannot say no to my daughters. And that's me. But I have tried to teach them and the value of knowledge, the power of education, and that learning is a lifelong process. So this is cool. This is a helmet that goes onto your brain, apparently, and can impact the deep structures like the thalamus wild major. Wow, that's cool. I cannot wait to read that. All right, more on this. Terminal, no, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. See, a lot of this stuff is very hyper specific, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm looking for big pictures. The last days of social media. I can't wait to see what that is. Genuine human content. Genuine human content is increasingly being sidelined by algorithms, which is a four-letter word, FYI, algorithms, engineered for content and AI slop optimized solely for clicks are being prioritized. Early social media was built for connection. The generative AI fueled attention economy has broken that illusion. There are no feeds no longer crowded. Feeds are no longer crowded with people, but content. Yeah, I haven't done it in a while, but there are reports that estimate how much content is being generated every second out there in the universe and in the internet. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go another few minutes. Hello. You have to dip underneath. I'm live, baby. All right, so that's it on TLDR. And here's an industry thing. Ooh, well, actually, the Emmys versus viewership is up for award shows. I'm surprised about that. Some good stuff coming. Oh, Claire Danes looks like she's in. Sweetheart, I'm gonna go another couple of minutes and then I'm gonna kill it, and then I'm gonna be right there. Wait for me. It's my beautiful wife walking the dog. Today's word of the day: debunk. Debunk. It's a verb, ladies and gentlemen. To debunk something, so says Webster's, such as a belief or a theory, is to show it is not true. We're going to end it here on this live feed. This is going to be, I think, a regular thing in the morning where I'm going to connect and share and be. I'm going to post a lot of content this week, and I'm going to keep the ball rolling. I hope, to provoke some discussion and solicit feedback, input, comments, and discussion, anything that anybody's willing to give me. So my name is Brent Barlow. This is La Bella B. Thanks for watching.